shadow of a union train, in the pouring rain, in the city that always sleeps. You tried to take me on a holiday, I wanna crawl away, cause this place gives me the creeps. Why'd you want to bring me here? This place is like the last frontier, and they don't even sell no souvenirs, cause there's no one here to buy them. Whoa. I only wanted just a little thrill, just some time to kill in Margaritaville. But now I'm sitting in a hotel chair in my underwear with a big black bug on the windowsill. You really wanna go and hit the town, you've got your favorite evening gown, but why you even want to be around where the drinking water's brown? Whoa.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome to day 3 of the reading rush. If you missed the first 2 vlogs of the reading rush, make sure to click the cards up above so that you can catch up and join me for today's vlog and hear about everything that I've read. So let me just give you an update because I finished The Song Will Save Your Life last night. Technically early this morning, so I think I finished it at almost 3 in the morning. This book was just such like a quick read and I really enjoyed it actually. I don't think it's a favorite book or anything, but I really enjoyed it and I can definitely see myself wanting to reread it in the future, which is always a good sign for me from a book if I want to reread it. I do just want to touch on the trigger warnings for this book because in all of the times I've heard this book talked about, I've never heard trigger warnings for it, and there are definitely a few triggers that you'd want to look out for when reading this book. In yesterday's vlog, I talked about the suicide and self-harm, and that is prevalent throughout the entire book. It only really occurs near the beginning, but it's obviously like it affects the main character because she's the one thinking about suicide and doing self-harm, and so it's mentioned throughout the rest of the book because it obviously affects her. So just know going into this book that if that's something that you can't handle, maybe skip out on this one because it is definitely ingrained into the story. There's also a mild trigger warning for eating disorders. There is one character in this book who just in passing kind of quickly mentions that she used to make herself throw up in order to stay skinny. So definitely also make sure that if that's something that could trigger you, maybe just skip that part. It is a very small part, just like kind of like in passing. They're just kind of talking about their high school experiences and that is mentioned. Bullying, if bullying is something that you don't like reading about, there is bullying within this book. I think that was it, but I just thought it was really important to mention because I've never heard anybody else talk about those triggers anytime I heard about this book being talked about. But thank God I'm not triggered by these things, so it didn't affect me, but I know that it could affect some people, especially the self-harm suicide part because the self-harm is kind of talked about in a bit of detail. It kind of talks about how she does it and talks about kind of the visuals of it, I suppose, which could be harmful to some readers. Anyways, this one was for the challenge read a book outside. I didn't really cheat on this one. I read part of it outside. I read part of it in the other room close to a window and then read it on my bed, which is obviously by my window that is right here. So like I'm gonna count it for that challenge. I'm gonna claim the badge later. But yeah, overall I really liked this book. I liked the characters. Oh, there was also a slight, not like a romance because it wasn't really a romance, but there was definitely hooking up between our main character who is 16 and a 20-year-old, which kind of rubs me the wrong way, but didn't like affect me too much. If that was a real life situation, I would have been like, but in books, things like that don't tend to bother me all that much. But yeah, just so you know, if that's something that you don't like reading about, older people with younger people, minors, I don't even know if they actually had sex. If they did, it was very much like Fade to Black, like never actually explicitly mentioned that they were actually having sex, but they definitely like made out, slept together in the same bed and things like that. So I kind of wish this book was like a little bit longer. I don't know. I kind of wish I got more out of this other love interest that was possible, that was kind of like inkling throughout the entire story that this guy had a crush on the main character at least, and it kind of comes together at the end. But I kind of wish we got to see more from them. Like I kind of wish that this came with like a short story or something so that we could have seen that. But overall I really enjoyed this book. I really enjoyed the whole theme and topic of how music can save your life. This song will save your life. I think that music is so powerful in that sense and that it can save lives for people. I know that music gets me through really hard times. If I'm ever feeling down or sad, I'll put on my favorite music. I know that when quarantine first happened, lockdown first happened with COVID, Niall's album had just come out and it's all I listened to. It's the only thing that kind of kept me going and kept me sane was listening to that album on repeat. I remember I worked, the last weekend that I worked, I think was the weekend after his album had come out, and I remember my entire shift just being so anxious and just not being able to wait until my break so that I could just listen to it, and I would just try to sit there listening to his album and just trying to breathe and like try to like relieve the stress, and it definitely helped. So I definitely believe that music music can help save your life, and I really enjoyed seeing that explored. I kind of want to read more books that have music in it or bands in it, so if you guys know of any good books that have like music or bands kind of in the forefront, maybe let me know, because I'm really interested. I know that I think I Was Born for This by Alice Oseman deals with like a band and like a girl falling in love, I think, with one of the band members, kind of like Starstruck style, which I'm really excited to read. So if you guys know any more books that have anything to do with music or anything like that, definitely let me know down below so I can look into it, because I've been looking for some more books, especially contemporaries, because I think I only have 3 contemporaries left on my TBR, my physical TBR, and it's stressing me out because it's my favorite genre and I need more. So plans for today and what I'm going to read today. Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. This is a reread for me. I've already read it. So I read this when it first came out in 2015 and I have not read it since. Haven't read it since. I might have reread it once. Did I reread it? Did I reread it before Akamath? I genuinely have no idea, but I've read this book at least once and I remember loving it, and I loved the second book, never read the third book, so it's kind of my goal to slowly be rereading the series so I can finally finish it. And this is for the challenge of read a book that has a cover that matches your birthstone. I was born in July, my birthday's actually tomorrow, today as you're watching this actually, and my birthstone is a ruby, and this is very red ruby like, so I'm very excited to reread this one. Now I'm not going to be able to finish this within a day because it is a bit chunkier and it is a high fantasy, and if you guys know me at all, high fantasy is not my genre of choice most of the time because it's just so hard for me to get into, but I'm hoping, because I'm semi-familiar with this world, that it'll be easier to kind of jump into, so here's to hoping that it goes well. So this is what I'm going to be reading today. I'm also going to try to finish The Silver Mask by Holly Black and Cassandra Clare. I did not listen to any more of it last night because this book kept me up for so long that I was just like way too tired to even think about paying attention to the audiobook, and since we're so close to the end, I didn't want to be distracted or anything like that, but I'll definitely be listening to that throughout the day. Besides that, my plans for the day, I need to write for Camp NaNoWriMo. That's kind of like an everyday thing. I think that's pretty much it besides like editing this video. So my entire day can basically be spent reading. That's the plan. So yeah, let's hope for good things, because I reread Throne of Glass last year and I did not love it as much as I used to. So let's hope for the best. Okay, so it's 5:30 now and I am 47 pages into ACOTAR. I don't know what made me think that it was a smart idea to put a high fantasy book on my TBR for a week-long readathon when high fantasies are hard for me to read. I don't really know, but I'm struggling a little bit. I'm not enjoying it or anything like that. I just find that because her writing is so, I don't know how to describe her writing, but her writing's so descriptive. I guess it's a bit harder to get through quickly, at least for me anyways. It takes me a bit longer to read. So I guess we're gonna see how this goes. I don't know. Also, all I can think about today is One Direction, so I'm kind of flipping between my book and Twitter and spending more time on Twitter than reading, so this shall be interesting.
Uno.
Okay, so it's now 11:30 and I need to end out this vlog, but I did manage to finish The Silver Mask. I literally finished it like a minute ago. I did enjoy it. These books are enjoyable for me, but they're nothing like super special in my opinion. I think that they're really, really interesting and the world is kind of really cool, and it kind of like flips the story on its head a little bit. You would think going into it that it's kind of just like this typical, oh, boy goes to magic school story, but it actually like flips so many things on its head, and it's actually quite unique in my opinion, and I really, really enjoy it, but there's just nothing like particularly like amazing or anything for me to like obsess over necessarily. It was enjoyable. A lot of like crazy things did happen in this book, like little like turns and twists, and the way that it ended, I'm very intrigued to finally read the last book, so hopefully I will get that audiobook within the next month or so. I'm very excited. As for ACOTAR, I haven't really been reading it. I'm on page 58 of this one. I'm gonna read it a little bit, I think, right now when I finish editing this video and get it uploaded. We'll see what happens. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Give it a huge thumbs up if you did enjoy it. Comment down below how the reading rush is going for you, and make sure that you don't forget to subscribe because I am daily vlogging this week and you don't want to miss it. And I will see you guys next time.